Hi everybody, Ezra Levant here outside the Royal Courts of Justice in London, England. What a gorgeous, unseasonably warm spring day. Moments ago, inside that building in courtroom 15, Justice Jeremy Johnson ruled that Tommy Robinson can go free. He's been in prison for 7 months in solitary confinement in a maximum security facility full of murderers and terrorists called His Majesty's Prison Wood Hill. Not just that, but to keep him in solitary confinement, the prison has released 24 other violent prisoners so that Tommy can have a wing to himself, because the prison is so chaotic and so out of control that the prison governor doesn't control it. The prison gangs do. So they literally opened out 24 cells, let those prisoners go just to hold Tommy. Talk about a bizarre justice system. Tommy was set to serve several more months in prison, but he purged his contempt, is what they call it in the law, by taking down the video finally in the last few days. That's what the judge said who sentenced him some 7 months ago. Part of the sentence was punitive. That is, to punish Tommy for publishing the video, but part of it was to force or coerce Tommy to actually take the video down. So by doing that, Tommy shortens his sentence by several months. He'll be released later this week unless the prison has some last-minute spasm of authoritarianism, which can't be ruled out given their sadistic governor, Nicola Marfley. It was an interesting hearing. Tommy's lawyer made the case that Tommy did everything he could to take down copies of the video, deleting it from his own account, writing to allies who had posted it. What was interesting is there were several accounts, including in Denmark, that simply refused to take it down, saying that they would never comply with a judge's order to censor. And the judge heard that and saw that Tommy tried to get them to take it down and accepted that Tommy did everything he could. It's interesting to me that people around the world published that video, including in France, the court was told. Besides Tommy's lawyer making the case that Tommy had purged his contempt, there was a lawyer here for the Solicitor General, that is, for the government of Keir Starmer. Realize how censorious this government is. Every single day, according to the Times of London, 30 people in the UK are arrested every day for a social media hurt feelings crime. 30 per day. That is more than are arrested for the same thing in Russia. Now, I'm not saying that the UK is an authoritarian regime in some of the ways that Russia is, but my God, it's going in that direction, wouldn't you say? Tommy joined today's proceedings by a video link from the prison, and he'll soon be released. What's astonishing is that he was in prison at all. If I'm not mistaken, there has been no other journalist who has served time in prison for contempt of court in nearly 100 years, let alone spending 7 months in solitary confinement. I think, again, that goes to Tommy's status as an enemy of the state. I'm worried that Tommy simply cannot get a fair hearing in the United Kingdom. He's become a pariah, and there's such peer pressure, even amongst the judges, to put him in prison. Let me give you an example. Although Tommy will be getting a number of days, this is another charge. Now that sounds terrifying. It sounds like he's done heinous, doesn't it? Well, no. In fact, all he did was, when he was picked up by police without warrant and held under the Terrorism Act, that's an astonishing law. It's like their version of the Patriot Act over here. They can arrest anyone coming or going from the country and hold them for up to 6 hours and question them, and you do not have the right to remain silent, to believe it. So they arrested Tommy on no charges, on no warrant, and they asked him questions about his politics and his journalism for 6 hours, and he answered them, as you must, but they asked him for the passcode on his phone. Now, of course, as you know, if you've got a smartphone, which most of us do, your phone doesn't just have phone numbers. It has your emails, it has your documents, it has your photos, it has voice and video recordings. It's got everything. And for the police to say, give us the passkey to your phone without a search warrant or any probable cause, simply offended Tommy's dignity as a Brit, the rule of law, the privacy that people in this country ought to have. So he declined. Now, I think the police cracked his password anyways, but nonetheless, they are charging him under the Terrorism Act for the offense of not giving him their passcode. Of course they are. They throw everything at this guy. It's like Lavrenti Beria, the Soviet secret policeman who said to Stalin, show me the man and I'll find you, or find me the man and I'll show you the crime, as in, I'll find something on anybody, just tell me who. That's Tommy Robinson. So although he's out of prison in the next few days now, I don't know what will happen to him if he's prosecuted again under the Terrorism Act. The hearing was about half an hour, and it was a small attendance. I don't think a lot of people knew about it in advance. There were 2 other journalists in the room besides myself. The public gallery only had a half a dozen people in it, including close friends of Tommy. I think he wanted it low-key for some reason, I don't know. But I heard about it and I live tweeted it. You can follow my live tweets on the subject at TommyReports.com. And I feel it's important for me to be here for all these hearings to document them. I try and type as fast as I can. I don't get everything. It's not quite stenography, but I try and reflect what it was like in the courtroom. Besides Tommy's lawyer, there was a lawyer for the Solicitor General, the cabinet minister in the Starmer government, and he didn't particularly oppose Tommy's release. I think he realized that Tommy Robinson had done everything he could to get the film down. But it was astonishing to me that the Solicitor General of the UK sent a lawyer, an expensive private practice lawyer, into court. And the Solicitor General did all sorts of online research about this video too. I mean, talk about misplaced law enforcement priorities. This country is awash in crimes, both petty and serious. London itself has got to be one of the most violent cities, certainly in the United Kingdom, whether it's knife crime or just property crime, and yet they're going after Tommy Robinson. It shows you the political nature of the war against him. But he will be let out. I just don't know if he can ever expect a fair hearing in this country. The title of Tommy's autobiography is Enemy of the State, and I really think he has become that. But other things have changed. Tommy Robinson is now a household name around the world. That video that was banned, and now it's taken down, well, before it was deleted, it had over 160 million views. That's more than double the population of the United Kingdom. The issues that Tommy Robinson would shine a light on, mass immigration, Islamification, terrorism, rape gangs, these are things that you weren't supposed to talk about. And the establishment sort of had a pact of silence, a cone of silence over them. Well, now everyone's talking about it. Even Keir Starmer, the Labour government, is now talking tough about reducing immigration, requiring English from immigration. I don't believe Keir Starmer, but Tommy Robinson was an early voice when everyone else was telling him to shut up. That's sort of how it is in politics, isn't it? A prophet is not recognized in his own time. Now even Nigel Farage is talking about mass deportations. It's almost like they're trying to catch up to where Tommy Robinson himself was. I think that's the difficult thing about being the leading edge, is you have the toughest fight and you never get any respect. I'm going to continue covering Tommy Robinson because I have a personal friendship with him, but also because I see his important place in the battle of ideas in this country. And I see how the war against him exposes flaws in the United Kingdom's own policing, prosecutions, certainly the prison system, the politics, the media. Tommy Robinson forces things to happen. He's a disruptor in his own way. And even the way he was punished, that turned him into a kind of martyr. I'm not sure if the state knew what they were doing by coming down on him so hard, because I think it only increased the size of his following. I understand that they're going to have a big public rally later this year when Tommy is out. a free speech rally. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, and if the government tries something to arrest him before that rally. They did that the last time they arrested him. They arrested him just a day before one of his big rallies. It couldn't be clearer that this is political. Every time I come to the United Kingdom, I myself, by the way, am slightly surprised that I'm not detained under that same Terrorism Act and asked questions, because I know 5 other people who have been detained under that rule, under that Terrorism Act. Anyways, those are my thoughts from being outside the courthouse. There's just one more thing I want to say, and it was interesting. The judge went through the guidelines, sort of the list of the rules for someone purging their contempt. Did you take all steps to remedy the contempt? Did you agree not to do it again? I mean, the judge said that Tommy Robinson had promised that if he disagrees with the court ruling in the future, he'll appeal it. But there was one thing the judge noted, that Tommy Robinson did not show remorse or contrition. He did not say he regretted doing what he did. He said he'll change his ways in the future, but he doesn't regret doing what he did. Now, that was not reason enough to be kept in prison, said the judge. But that's the nature of Tommy Robinson. There's a principled stubbornness to him. Some people might call it irrational. Some people might call it foolish. But it's that nature, that essence of him that has made him so effective. I think most people would have deleted their video months ago to get out of prison much sooner, but Tommy Robinson endured the punishment, and his video racked up 100 million extra views. The law doesn't know what to do with principled, conscientious objectors. I spoke to another journalist today, and I said, you know what? It might be a bit disproportionate, but there is something about Tommy Robinson that's similar to what Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela had within them. A willingness to suffer unfair laws and to personally take on physical and mental pain and suffering in the service of a larger goal. Now, I'm not comparing the scope or the scale of Tommy Robinson to Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi. I'm not. But I'm saying that that trait of civil disobedience, that willingness to sacrifice oneself, knowing that in the long term the battle could be won, and acting as a non-violent symbol for a movement, that's one of my favorite things about Tommy. I like the man as a friend, and I also feel like the issues he's fighting in the UK today are the issues that we're going to fight in Canada and other places around the world. Well, those are my thoughts on the steps of the Royal Courts of Justice. I think Tommy should be out of jail in the next few days. I'm going to stick around London and try to find out when he's being released. And through the family, I've spoken to them, and I believe I'll be able to interview him when he's out of prison. I'll have a one-on-one conversation privately with him, but I'll also catch up with him for his public thoughts and for the details of his prison that I was forbidden to find out because I myself was banned from visiting him by the sadistic Governor Nicola Martley. Well, that's my report for the day. Feel free to follow all of our reports on Tommy's travails at TommyReports.com.